Hello gainers, welcome to my channel called Fitter Philosophy. I'm Ralphie, and this channel is all about an experienced practical philosopher, which is what I do part-time, examining the world in which we live, the human condition, the universe beyond, and trying to make sense of it all, which is more difficult than it sounds, because humans have very limited senses of perception. Just enough senses, five primary senses. There are other senses, of course, in humans which are suppressed, but we'll come to that in another video. And we have sight, hearing, touch, taste and smell, and that is basically what we get on with, although there is a fifth sense. There's a sixth sense and the seventh, and then there is the inklings of an eighth sense. But we are confined and restricted to the reality in which we are temporarily living in. We take so much for granted, we assume so much because we generally have to. We don't question things too deeply because it's the human condition to be easily distracted and misdirected into the appeal of superficiality, like too many material possessions, or an obsession over particular drugs, or philosophies for that matter. But the environment in which we live appears to be a bit mad. The world seems to be a mad place, and there's nothing new about that. The world has always been mad, and it's always been dangerous and always will be dangerous, although the dangers can manifest in different ways. For many people living in the world, the dangers are less overtly acute. In other words, you're less likely to get stabbed in the street, but you're more likely to be afflicted by chronic diseases which will kill you, caused by what's euphemistically called lifestyle, but is in fact to do with stress, very poor quality food, and very poor lifestyle choices. And we have some control over this, but our control is curtailed by the dogmas of the societies in which we live. And this is something we have to be aware of. When we have more experience of life, we start to gain more awareness. And no matter how high our alleged IQ is, and IQs can be quite misdirecting as regards intelligence, real intelligence, we are in a situation where we make the best of what we have in the situation we encounter, but we have a sneaky suspicion there are greater realities beyond it, beyond the confines and the constraints of our day-to-day living. And this will manifest occasionally in flashes of inspiration, the occasional shock of sudden insight that we experience in our journey, and this takes time. We do need time to become wiser, and this is why you often hear in folklore about it's the old people who are wise, the wise old men or the wise old woman, the wise old person. And it's not generally young people or children that are considered wise. You know, there's a reason for this. And it's something that we all experience our own individual journey. We know we're being gaslighted from many directions, not one single direction. And as we get this growing awareness, particularly when we invest in taking time to become more aware of our awareness, to enjoy moments of silence, to basically, in at least part of our day, replicate the lifestyle of a monk or a recluse or a druid or a wise person from any culture. It's when we start to just take even 5 minutes. It's amazing how it redirects our journey. And the superficiality of our day-to-day life becomes more in focused for what it actually is and how uneventful it is. We start to see the world literally through fresh eyes when we start to incorporate some self-taught wisdom. And we're all different, so we're all doing it in different ways. But to apply more wisdom into life, we start to get more out of life. And as we get more out of it, we put more into it. It becomes a two-way journey. And we start to see things more as they are. We become comfortable with chaos, for starters, I can assure you of that. We become more uncomfortable with the banality of existence and the superficiality of it, the pointlessness of it, actually. And I would conclude by saying one of the most valuable points of reference to achieve wisdom, to gain wisdom, are long walks in countryside locations. Away from other humans, time out from humans means that we're less distracted by humans and human activity. The people who live off-grid, who are reclusive, who are hermits, who live like monks, they generally acquire a stillness about them because they are deprogrammed and detuned from the white noise of the wider world, in which many solutions are perceived to be easily bought with money, and that is not the case. It really isn't. Final note, you will know, you've got to recognise the signs when you're becoming wiser. And one is that you have an inner stillness when things seem chaotic around you. You have a greater sense of gravity when you're in a situation in which you no longer have immediate control, such as a death, bereavement, or a bad accident. They're good examples. You will notice that you're growing wisdom where you see more transparently through the superficiality and the malicious gaslighting of collective media, not just traditional media or social media, but collective media. And when we detach about it and rise above it, we look down over it, we get more of an overview, and we see it for truly what it is. This is wisdom. You see, wisdom becomes part of the process of ascension, right? And ascension is something I'll discuss in another video. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a bit of a rambly deep dive, but it is what it is. I hope you get something out of it. I certainly get something delivering it to you. And as far as I'm concerned, it is the sharing of grassroots information, individual to collective individualities, that really is what social media, what the internet is particularly good at. It's elevating consciousness, collective consciousness. And I wouldn't worry about panicking too much, because if you do get concerned, if you do get demoralised, if you do get a bit panicky about the madness of the world around us, at least you're alive to it, you are aware of it, and you are responding to yourself. And that, mates, pat pals, and fitter philosophers is really quite a good thing. I'm Ralphie. Hope you've enjoyed this. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.